Okay, guys, we're back with Thomas. These are the New Zealand EQs. They came from Hughes. They've got 202 intakes, 1.625 exhausts, but no porting and full of carbon. How did they do? You can see we've got some rough cuts in the chamber. We've got some pretty decent sized steps in the exhaust. They were obviously from a running vehicle. I don't know if you guys can see the Dicom at all in there, but it looks very similar to the last one we did that had, except it's wider. It's a little bit wider this way. And unfortunately, I don't think we can see anything on the dirty valve. Does the carbon on the valve make a difference as far as flow? You betcha. Everything matters. Okay, you can see we hit the intake valve with a little wire brush action after we floated. No back cut on that. No back cut on the exhaust. Okay, looks good on the bore. Very similar to the RTs, actually, the way the angle comes in. This is also at the same lift, 55.55 inch lift. Now, this head started to have buffeting issues at that lift, meaning that it's already starting to lose it on the short side. But it is more like the original Magnum design with the very high short side and the very small pinch where it fans out. I was able to fix that on those Chinese Magnums that I did, and it wasn't that much work when I did the New Zealand ones for a pickup. Those tuned up really easily. Those were nice. Okay, just like the original Magnum design, very tight pinch. Right, and relatively narrow roof, wide floor. Very similar to the original Magnum design. All right, these are upside down right now, so the top is the floor. This does not have a floor vane, where the Chinese Magnums that I did up had a floor vane or a fin that I wound up machining out to make it work better. Okay, you can see how the Dicom comes in and hits this edge. They're using this edge as a fuel sharing edge. Okay, completely as cast exhaust with lots of carbon built up in it. But you can see from the factory they use the 45 and they have it bring a radius in. This edge is a big overhang all the way around on that. So we could definitely get some more out of that without too much work. Okay, you can see the deep throat cut on the short side of the intake port. Little work there is gonna show you big gains. Plus, it's all as cast and a little bit rusty. Okay, basically the same shape bowl as the Magnums, or even the Chinese EQ Magnums. Okay, you can see inside the intake bowl. Good size bosses that could be machined down and make it a lot nicer. And you can see we got a very sharp edge on that short side from that seat. First thing you need to notice, we started out at 86 degrees. It's 91 right now. So when it does get hotter, the bench does lose a few CFM. Now we're going to compare the RT purples that had the nicer porting that topped out much better versus these EQ Magnums with a bigger valve, okay? So how did we do? It's down a touch, 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 down a touch. It tops out at 255 CFM at 0.55. This one is 262 at 0.55. It's knocking on the door. Remember, the completely stock port's full of dirt. So I have no doubt that these would tune up really well. Unfortunately, the guides are a little on the fried side, so they definitely need guides. Let's take a look at the difference in the swirl. Now, this had 0 down low. This had minuses like the other one. The Magnum that had less, the RT that had less porting work had 2 reversals too. Right? Backwards, 0, 0, and then nice progression up. At 0.55 lift, we are 2,381 revolutions. I have a number here in the corner. That was as much lift as I could get out of these with those valves. I did the same thing here. I forgot to talk about it. So these numbers here, 232 is at 0.63 lift. Okay, same thing with this one. At 0.67 lift, the best we could do is this. Now, this did have buffeting issues right around 500 because it's designed to work with the stock size cam in a Magnum, which is, what, 450? I don't even know exactly what it is. Let's take a quick look at what the exhaust port did. Down a slight amount, down, down, down. Remember, this is ported, and the guy did a pretty good job. They're clean. Okay, this has got 2 spots of noise. This has got 2 spots of noise. They're not in the same place. Down, 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 everywhere. We max out here at 240, which is excellent. This one only maxes out at 201.7 with a 1 inch and 7/8 pipe at 0.55 lift. Okay, without a pipe, it's 177.9. Okay, Purple RT air speeds versus the Magnum New Zealand's. This actually had a buffet when I went. It was at 0.55, and when I put the pitot into the top, it made the short side buffet. So this number is not accurate. But we can compare 312 here to 306, very similar. But look how much better this is on the floor than this one. As far as the roof, we got nice roof speeds on this one. It's also a smaller port with a bigger valve, so it is going to act differently. Usually what happens when you put a bigger valve in it, it puts more of a strain on the short side, which we're going to take a look at that in a second. How even were these? These were off by 22. Okay, these are a little bit closer. As far as the short side, this is up, this is down, this is up. These are quite even from top to bottom. These are not bad top to bottom, but they're a little bit slower in the center. But this one was already having problems. This one was smooth. So that's important to keep in mind. Let's take a look at our exhaust air speeds. Now this port is obviously way better. So I would imagine that these numbers are going to be better. Okay. Down, 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 up. We got a good number in the center. Up a little bit, not completely dead on the floor. Up, up, up. This is working good on this side of that exhaust port. And after you did the throat and got rid of those lumps and bumps and the built-up carbon, that head's going to really make some nice power. I am definitely a big fan of the New Zealand EQs. Thomas, would you like to say anything to close us out?
No, I'm just happy that Charles would have me out, flow test all these heads. It's been kind of a long day. It's gotten hotter throughout it, but I'm excited about this EQ head because of the potential it has, considering that it's as cast, it's filthy, and it's still flowed, relatively comparable to the RT heads. I think that there could be a lot of improvements still yet to be had, and I think a lot of potential that hopefully Charles can get for me in the upcoming months.
I like the way that sounds. All right, guys. Thanks for hanging out. Have a good night.